Hey y'all, it's Amanda. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm going to go over the books that I read in February with you. When I first made my YouTube channel, I actually went over some of the books that I already read in February just because of timing and everything. So I'll kind of briefly recap some of those, but then I'll talk about what I read at the end of February just because when I made that video, it was, like I said, the timing and everything. So the books that I talked about in my first video that I read in early February was Go Tell the Bees That I'm Gone by Diana Gabaldon, Relationship Goals by Michael Todd, and then The Vanishing at Loxby Manor by Abigail Wilson. So I already talked about those in my very first YouTube video, which I'll link here. This will be a pretty quick video. Just kind of want to talk a little bit about the books that I finished up in February. But I did finish reading Cersei by Madeline Miller. As I mentioned in one of my previous videos, I wasn't really crazy about it. It's really not my cup of tea. But if you're really into Greek mythology, you'll like it. It does have some explicit content, so you know, I wasn't crazy about that. But Cersei's story was just really sad and tragic, honestly. So I gave it 2.5 stars. It is written really well, but just really all I have to say is if you really like Greek mythology, you'll really enjoy her story. I do think, like I said, Madeline Miller is a really great writer. It's just something not for me. So I think that's why I didn't love it as much as some other people did, and it's really just not my thing. So, and I borrowed it from the library, so I returned it. It wasn't something I bought, but so I was like, okay, I'll just try that out, but didn't love it. So just that's really all I have to say about it at this point. So I finished it on February 19th. On February 20th going into the 21st, it's pretty much in one day, I listened to The Case for Grace by Lee Strobel, and I just loved that book so much. It was just a wonderful experience about God's grace and love for us and all the real life experiences that Lee it's kind of like interview style, and he narrates the audiobook, so it was really good. But each story from those that he interviewed was just so real, authentic, raw, just everything about their life. I cried. It will certainly get you emotional. So basically Lee just shared some real life stories where people experience God's grace through the hardest time in their life. How did they survive these hardships? All through the grace of the Lord. I truly was so impacted by these, and just to see everything that these people went through in their struggles, whether it was drug addiction or abandonment or just feeling less than or without. I mean, everything in there just truly impacted me and made me realize just how important God's grace is in our lives and how he is always working no matter what. And so it was really, like I said, impactful. It's all about the unconditional gift of God's love, his mercy, his grace, and certainly so emotional, and that no matter what your sin and your shame, Jesus loves you and he is always with you. So that was a really good read, good listen. I highly recommend listening to that on audio because he narrates it, and it's a quick listen. Overall, 5 out of 5 stars for me. I love that. So the next book I picked up was In Search of a Prince by Tony Shalhoub. This book, I love this book. It's a 4.5 stars. It was just so good. It has a lot of great faith content. They prayed throughout the book entirely. This basically starts off with Brielle. Her grandfather is sick and dying from cancer. She doesn't know it, but she's the heir to the throne of this African kingdom or city, village in Africa. And so she finds out that she's the heir to the throne and is supposed to be the princess there. When she finds this out, she's a teacher in New York, so she ends up having to kind of uproot her entire life and go across the world to this town and in this village and this small island. And so her father passed away when she was born. He died in a boating accident, and so you know there was a lot of animosity between her mom and the grandfather. So Brielle just never knew anything about the grandfather or anything over there. She did not know anything about her dad's life, and that he was a prince of over there. So she's going through all these different emotions about who she really is. Does she want to actually take a root in this kingdom and everything? And it's like she's kind of first learning about who she really is for the first time in 25 years. And so she's really upset with her mom for lying about it for 25 years. You know, she's trying not to let the anger rule. And so she ends up going over there with her best friend Iris, and I loved her best friend. It's so cute. She always saying, hey, I'll pray for you and everything, and I really like that in a best friend, so that was nice to see. So this would be like the first, if she decides that she wants to be the princess over there, that she would be the first woman to rule in history in their country. So You know, some of it's kind of unrealistic, of course, just kind of how the stories are sometimes, but for the story, I guess it was realistic enough. As the title suggests, she is in search for a prince, so there's a lot of interesting things there going on. But overall, like I said, the story was really good, a lot of great faith content. I felt that my favorite parts was that there's a lot of prayers back and forth. My best friend's praying for her. She's always thinking about the Lord, and every character in the story is praying or talking about God or faith in some way. So, and how he is always, is his will for everything. So I really enjoyed that part as well. So this book was a 4 out of 5 stars, 4.5 for me. I really enjoyed it. And so I highly recommend, if you're into like royalty, just that kind of, a lot of good faith content, you'll really enjoy this story as well. So those are the final books that I read in February. I do have a big March TBR, so hopefully I'll have more to talk about then at the end of March. I'm hoping I can get to all of those. But if you want to check out the books that I recently read in January going into the middle of February, you can check the video up here in the card. When I started my channel, I kind of already made a video in the middle of February where you could kind of see what I had recently read, so I called it a recent reads. So there's not a whole lot of books to talk about here. So have you read any of these books? What did you think of them? What was your favorite book that you read in the month of February? I'd love to know in the comments below. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.